The streets will never make you grow. It's not a seed, it's a gutter. There's no happy endings in this life. So this is my message to you. The streets will never love you back.
Pow! What's up, guys? Well, we're here again. We got another guest tonight. I'm glad to see you all in the chat. Thanks for coming here and supporting me. I really appreciate it. Well, tonight we have Brian Glaze Gibbs. Brian Glaze Gibbs is a gangster out of East New York, Brooklyn. Definitely a serious fella. He's got a hell of a story behind him. Brian Glaze Gibbs was one of the most feared men walking the streets of New York in the 80s. The former top goon talks about a life of crime, and we're going to talk about his book, Beyond Lucky, and much more. Now, during the 80s were a crazy time. Everybody was running rampant. Everybody was wild. New York had no shortage of gangsters, names like Lorenzo Fat Cat, Nichols, Howard Pappy Mason, the Supreme Team, and others dominated the streets. And later on, we would also form the Bath Avenue crew, which we got mixed up with all that crazy shit too, looking up to the wrong people. But at one point, he became most feared man on the streets during that time. A drug kingpin, goon, hitman. Glaze had no shortage of run-ins with the law, in and out of jail since the age of 13. His reputation and behavior once got him kicked out of Rikers Island. Imagine that. Now that's a badass, right? He must have been a wild man back then, I'll tell you. I probably didn't want to run into him, especially in his neighborhood. I'm saying those neighborhoods back then, forget, they'll kill you in a minute. And it was a survival of the fittest for sure. Now, after several incarcerations, Gibbs was on the run and was finally caught and charged with murder and would send him away for life. He decided to go against the grain, violate the street code. You know, sometimes you got to think about yourself. You know, when you're a kid, you do stupid shit. Then you got your back against the wall and you realize, wow, you know what? I'm going to throw my life away. You got to think about you. So he violated the street code and copped a plea deal where he confessed to 5 murders and 2 attempted murders. After serving his sentence, he was released from prison, where he still remains a free man, being heavily embedded in the streets during the New York's most violent times. Glaze has seen it all. So this guy wrote a book. You know, he's a civilian now. I'll tell you know what, I watch his podcast. I talk to him. He's definitely an inspiration. You know, I know going back to those days, they were wild times. I grew up in the 80s. He has a couple years on me, but these guys were serious guys. We're going to talk about his life of crime. There was also a police officer that was murdered. I don't think he had anything to do with it. I think that was the point of no return where he comes forward and let him tell the story. So let me put on Brian Glaze Gibbs. Let me give a shout out to Boston J, Live and Let Live, Beat a Beat, Timothy Jones, Chiba Man, Rob D, and all you other guys that showed up to support us today. Live and Let Live, I see it, Joey D. All right, let me put Brian Glaze Gibbs on. And let's talk about him today. What's up, Glaze?
What up, baby? How you doing, man? How you doing, Jimmy?
How's everything?
Everything. Long day, man. Long day, man.
I'll tell you, you know what? Look, hey, we spoke over the phone, and you know what? I look at you, I watch your podcast, and you're a very inspirational guy. I see the way you talk, and I think you're very educated, you know, and you know, I know I can learn a lot from you for sure. You got a couple years on me, and we're both from Brooklyn. different areas. You know, we know the streets. Listen, we survived it. And, you know, you ran with some serious characters back then. So my question to you is, you know what? Let's begin from the beginning about growing up.
Okay. You know what? Growing up, man, as I sit back and I think about it now, man, like you know what? Growing up, especially back then in that Brooklyn, New York City, you know what I'm saying, time frame, what I love about it, because what New York teach you diversity, because you're growing up in that big melting pot of the world. Like you got every nationality in New York. So even back then, you grew up with every nationality. So what we learned as a young age, people with people. So that was my big advantage because I was able to accept people for who and what they are. It wasn't until I left, like every summer, going to South Carolina, whereas you start experience racism. So, like I tell you, like growing up in New York, you want to get caught up into like that fashion sense, man. Everybody want to look good. Everybody want to be down. In order to look good, what it take? It take money. And if you don't have a job, or you know, even your parents, especially if you came from a single parent, you know what? The struggle was real. It was rough. But once again, just because your friend, they got a two-parent household and they able to afford like the latest gear, clothing, the latest bike, whatever. To me, if you're in the neighborhood, you're gonna want the same thing. So when out being at my desire, as they call it, your big eyes, like you want more. And you're gonna go out there, especially if you can't get a job, you're gonna go out there and you're gonna participate with that crime game, man.
Of course, you know, everyone's chasing the money, right? And then we have these role models we're looking up to in the neighborhood. Who was the last gangster? You know, and you know, those are the guys we want to be like. You know, listen, I'm an Italian guy. I grew up in an Italian neighborhood at the time. You know, you grew up in a tough neighborhood, a black area, black neighborhood. I'm saying, who were the role models you looked up to? You there, Glaze? Glaze froze up. All right, well, we'll wait for Glaze to come back. He might have a problem with his internet connection.
Jimmy, can you see? Okay, I'm
Yep.
back.
Okay, yeah, I hear you.
Back. Hey,
Yes.
but some of the people that I looked up to, some of the people that I look up, Moochie. Moochie was basically like one of the older guys from my neighborhood that, you know, he had everything. He had the fancy cars. He, you know, he was a drug dealer. He was a hustler. He supplied so many different people. Besides that is you got guys like Shabay. These guys was like straight up gangster. Like they were straight up gangster with their fists and they were straight up gangster with the guns. So those are some of the guys. And I remember my man Tall Paul. Tall Paul was a smoother, older guy. I met him in when I, you know, in Bedford Stuyvesant section. Then he moved to East New York. And even with that being said, guess what happened? It's like, you know, his whole demeanor, attitude, he always treated me like a little brother. Anytime I needed something or want something, you know what? He made sure you're here. I got you. But once again, when you look at these guys, you're looking up to them for the wrong reason. Because once again, how can a drug dealer be a role model? How can stick-up kids, gangsters, killer be a role model? So it's like we got it wrong because we looking up to these individuals opposed to looking up to the parents or the people that was out there doing it right, like the moms, the dad that never committed a crime, that got up each and every day to punch that clock for their kids, to make sure they was able to provide a roof over their head, food on the table, clothes on their back. Those to me are the real gangsters and the role model, but we had it twisted. We was like infatuated by that, you know, like you say, the mob or these gangsters. Why? That means we was already set up to fail.
Now, talk about your parents growing up. You know, me personally, when I was a kid, my mom and dad were separated. My father ended up moving to Manhattan. Once I realized I was a greater force than my mother, I looked up to the wise guys on the corner. And who's going to stop me? Nobody was there to stop me. Mm-hmm. How about you?
You know what? Like I say, my mother, like, you know, to me, up until my pop wasn't there, We, right now had a step pop. Outstanding guy. He did a lot, you know what I'm saying, for us. Like, with him and my mother together right now is, guess what? They had an opportunity because she had a good job and he had a good job. They had an opportunity when we left the Bedford-Stuyvesant section, whereas we could have moved to Queens and buy a home. But the way my mother was, she was a close knitted. She grew up in South Carolina and she had 4 other sisters. And out of those 4 sisters, 3 of them was up in New York. So what she did was, opposed to her moving to Queens, she left Brownstone and Bedford-Stuyvesant, and she came to Cypress. Not that she had to, but she didn't have to. She wanted to because of the bond that she had with her sisters. So despite we could have been out there in the suburb, in a better area, better location, better, school system, less crime, but she decided that she wanted to be in Cypress with her sisters. So with that being said, we in Cypress. And while we in Cypress, you get exposed to so many different other things. Because once again, any and everything that it goes down, it went down in that Cypress, East New York section of Brooklyn. And with her, it was like this. Whatever we needed, they made sure we had. Whatever, like I'm talking about, whether it's, food, we never went hungry. I know people that right now, what they used to do? They used to take cockroaches out of their cereal to eat, to pour the milk in there, and the milk sometimes be sour. So you know what? Everybody had different type of walk of life, different experience with life. I didn't experience going to bed hungry. So the difference was we could have had just about anything that we want within reason that my parents would have gave it to us. But you know what? I didn't have the patience. I didn't have the understanding, patience, silence, and strength. I wanted it now. I wanted like that microwave instantly. I didn't want to wait. Well, give me a few weeks or give me a month. No. Well, my guy Domino, he got brand new stuff now. Or my friend LD, I want it now. So right now is if your parent cannot provide it for you, what you gonna do? If we got stopped from getting jobs. I wasn't able to get a summer job. You ever had a summer job?
Not really. I had a job. Like I worked at Western Beef with a wise guy, Mikey Scars. Mm-hmm. But as far as, every summer getting the job, I was more like, I like to rob and steal, stuff like that.
So even right now, back then, before you really get into that route, you try to do it the right way. You try to fill out the little application, get the summer job like everybody else in your neighborhood. But when, say the city, the government telling you, well, your mother, they make too much. But we living in the projects. How the heck we make too much? If we was making too much, we wouldn't be living in the project. But like I say, my mother moved there not by force, but by choice. So with that being said or whatever, everything was there. Once you get caught up into that. And like I said, I've been joining this program recently called Bully Buster 702. And right now, I love it. And right now I'm trying to bring that to, North Carolina, South Carolina, different areas, even New York. But even right now, as I sit back and think about it, sometimes as you sit back and think about it, as you get older, like to me, how did I become who I became? How did I become this individual, this Glaze character? How did I came there? And I feel sometimes I was bullying to becoming Brian Glaze Gibbs.
Glaze, in my neighborhood growing up, the mob had a lot of influence in the neighborhood. But before I go any further, I want to appreciate and thank you for coming on here today. I didn't tell you that. And I got a lot of respect for you. Okay. Just to let you know, I want you to know that. So in your neighborhood, who was the influence? Because I know neighborhoods, everybody, slinging dope, and then you know what? I mean, like you said, in our neighborhoods, the bad guys are the good guys and the good guys are the bad guys.
How backward is that, man? How backward is that? But you say to me, in our neighborhood back then, you had the guys that was fly. Like, and this guy right here, man, he died at an early age and he don't even get the credit and the recognition. And right now is, his name was Larry, Gangster Larry. They used to call him Shifty. And he died at a very young age. This guy, his whole demeanor, his whole attitude, Shout out to his family, Larry Warren. And, you know, we used to call him Gangster Larry. And the way he moved, the way he dressed, when they go to party, the way he danced, the 6-step, like, you know, all fancy, get any girl that he wanted, you know, was known for, you know, being out there as far as hustling. So, you know, like he played a major part because he was a little older than us, but he was more close to our age group. So we could touch him. Whereas like right now he was like that guy, like, wait a minute, everybody wanted to be like Larry because his name would just ring at everybody, Gangster Larry, Gangster Larry, Gangster Larry. And to me, even with that being said, it's like, once again, like, look what you're saying with gangsters. Why everybody's so fascinated by that terminology and that word gangster.
Yeah, I tell you, it really is something, and it's backwards in the neighborhoods. So, you know what? Look, you have an amazing story. You wrote a book called Beyond Lucky. Why are you so beyond lucky?
You know what? That right there, like, you know, like with the Beyond Lucky, even as I reevaluate as you get older and everything like that, like I say, luck, no. Bless, yes. And what I mean that, because once again, like, look, I done got shot at plenty of time. And I say to myself, you know what? Don't get me wrong, like Jimmy, like if I'm not right and somebody coming around or somebody pull out on me and start shooting, I'm gonna be like Ricochet Rabbit, Sheriff, pew, 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 and get the heck out of Dodge. I'm not gonna be, and you have seen certain people, guys pull out a gun, you know what? Okay, cool. You know, oh, shoot me. No, that's not reality. If you got me and I know you got me, there's nothing I can do about it. Guess what? If I got the opportunity, I'm going to do like DMC say, run, run, or even like what they say, run, Forrest, run. I'm going to get you later. If you got the opportunity to escape, you better escape and fight and wait for another day. But once again, like you say, is everybody get caught up into that. Everybody get caught up into that lifestyle, man. But so with that book being said, I don't think I'm lucky. I'm feeling more blessed than lucky. And I count my blessing each and every day because God must be knew if I would have got shot in my toe, if I would have got shot in my pinky or whatever, my thumb, I would have died. So I look at myself and everything that I've been through and everything that, you know, I count my blessing. I'm blessed more so than lucky.
No, absolutely. I mean, listen, you know what? You could have spent the rest of your life in jail. Obviously, you got a brain. I'm saying. And I mean, look, you wrote a book. I mean, you're doing very well. How long are you home now?
Right now is, guess what? July 28th would be 25 years of freedom. 25 years of freedom. And when I got out, right now, the U.S. Marshal gave me 45 days before I commit a crime and go back to jail. The U.S. probation gave me 90 days. And because once again, only thing they going by is what they reading, what they hearing, what they think they know, what's in the file. So when you look at it, like I told them, I said, look, man, I am never going back to jail. And they're like, well, we don't believe that. They didn't tell me this. I found out later because once again, they said they went downstairs and they laughed their ass off. Man, he's a professional criminal. He don't know nothing else. So they knew I was going back. But as time went on, I told them, I said, look, I'm not going back. I don't care if I got to go collect aluminum cans. If I got to get out there and collect aluminum cans, I would get out there each and every day. I know it's a dirty job, but I know I sat in a jail cell, you know what I'm saying, for years. So I know if I take that time and go collect aluminum cans and they paying 5 cents a can, I look at it right now. Look, man, within a year time, I can accumulate 1 million to 1.5 million cans times 5 cents. That's 50 to 75,000. So to me, it's like, you know what? I'm gonna hustle. But now I'm gonna flip the script. I don't have to be criminal no more. I don't have to have that criminal mentality no more. I don't have to think, no, I can hustle legally. I can go out there. Everybody gonna be saying, uh-oh, here come old Cam, man. But I made 50 to 75,000. I didn't hurt nobody. I didn't poison nobody's community. I didn't kill nobody. I didn't rob. I didn't steal. I went out there and went through those garbage cans because I didn't put my pride in the way, think I'm better than what I am. No, that's what we lose. That's why, like you say about the change, I knew I was not going back. When my mother died, when I was in there, I'm like, that was the worst pain that I felt in my whole life. It took her death to help me to understand what I put the victim and their mother, their family through. And with that type of pain, you wouldn't wish upon your worst enemy.
I tell you, Glaze, you know what? How you calculated that with the bottles. I tell you, you're a very intelligent guy. And also my condolences to your mom. Listen, I experienced the same thing with my dad. I was away when he died of pancreatic cancer and I couldn't go to the wake. So I understand and I know how you feel, I know the feeling. And, listen, I got a photo over here that I actually pulled up a couple photos. I'll do one at a time. But this is a photo of, I think that's you.
Yeah, that's me, man.
Back in the day.
That's what I hear. I hear it.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. How old are you? How old are you in that photo?
Probably 23.
22 years old.
Hmm?
Listen, when they picked you up, right? How old were you when you were facing life in jail?
Nice. What time? Which and that's the difference, man. Like, and a lot of times, like, look what you just asked me. When would they pick me up now facing life in jail? Right now, at 17. At 17, people don't understand, understanding the judicial system, understand the legality and the law. The difference people don't understand about strikes. Strikes is felony. Okay, I'm gonna repeat that for anybody that's out there listening, especially for the younger generation. I want you to understand the words that come in the mouth. Right.
You're breaking up, Glaze. Glaze, you're breaking up.
Now, is anybody know anything about baseball? Jimmy, you know anything about baseball? Jimmy.
You're breaking up. You're breaking up. Glaze, you're breaking up. Maybe you got to come a little closer. You hear me, Glaze?
I can hear you now. I'm not moving. I'm moving, yeah. But right now, the way my equipment is, it's not moving. It's right there. I'm not shaking nothing or whatever because I know how sensitive this internet can be. And I know the weather here is starting to rain, so I don't know if that has something to do with it.
Okay, yeah. So you asked me a question. Do I know something about
baseball?
I love baseball. I collect baseball cards.
Oh, man, you got some, man. Hey, I see, you know what? That's what we said then. We used to collect baseball cards. I used to have Boy Scout bags full of baseball cards, man. But you can tell everybody's stats, all that, and flipping cards, winning cards. But right now, we talk about baseball. You know what? What like right now, what is 3 strikes?
3 strikes, you're out.
You out. So the difference is that's the same thing with the street. Each felony is a strike. And basically, if you got 3 strikes, you out. The criminal justice system, guess what? You can get life. No? Do you know that, right?
Oh, absolutely.
So what I'm saying is this: at 17, right now is between 17 and 18, I had 4 felonies. So automatically, guess what? When I got out, that's why I say when you've been facing life, I've been facing life since I was 17 years old. So you're back against the wall, going away from in the penitentiary, and are you facing life? So you come home from doing 3.5 years, you get out, and then you ask yourself right now is guess what? You got to go out there and do it right, because if you don't do it right, I could have went to a local meat market, $500 worth of meat, felony. They take me to court, and if I get convicted, what's going to happen? They're going to give me life imprisonment. So you sit back and think about it. You got life imprisonment for what? Something stupid. Because you went out there and you stole $500 worth of meat, but you have priors. You have priors. So now what they're going to do, you go. So automatically, with that being said, I think sometimes the judicial system breed worse criminal. Because if I'm going to get life, you know what I'm saying, by committing something as petty as stealing meat, I might well go all the way.
I got another photo over here. You and two good-looking ladies over here.
Yes, that was at the Tyson Spink fight, man. Mike Tyson, Michael Spink fight. June of 1988, man. You know, that was the good old days, man. That was the good old days, man. And see, look at that, man. 24 years old, you know, making $40,000 a day. You think you're on top of the world.
Wow.
And people don't understand that, man. Like, people do not understand, like, how. And what I'm trying to say right now is, man, I went from being a petty criminal, you know, doing petty stuff, to slowly but surely working my way into an organization that's so strong. Like, I'm just saying in general, like, when stuff was happening, you do what the hell you want to do. I developed a crew called the M&M, Money and Murders. I took a bunch of young guys and get them to, you know, stop them from going to Manhattan, robbing and stealing, get them down to come with me.
So I'm sorry, I fucking got an abscess. They gave me 500.
Tom, I'm interviewing Glaze right now. I'll call you back.
Oh, you on the thing with Glaze?
Yes.
Oh shit.
I'll call you back.
Oh, okay, all right.
Right. Tommy Glaze. But okay. Yeah, so you know what, Glaze? Tell me about the dope game. You know what I mean? Because in your neighborhoods, I know the dope game is the money game, you know, and with that comes a lot of trouble.
Yeah. You know what? Like, even with the dope, and like I was telling you beforehand, growing up, and most young black kids, you know what, in Brooklyn, Queens, you know, coming up, we wasn't into the drug game. We was into the robbery and the burglary game, you know, whereas that was really known like an uptown game, you know, because once again, we didn't get down with that. And not only that, for a long period of time, I was against any type of form of drug, using any type of form of drug, or selling any type of form of drug. Why? Because I watch as a little kid. When you're walking down the street, you see grown-ups not quite understanding. You 5, 6, 7 years old. You see grown-ups not out in the street. We back. So when you see that, and you see what drugs do to people, you didn't want no part of it. Or every time you turn on the news and you listening, and these young kids get arrested, and what they do, they blame it on the drugs. They blame it on the heroin. They blame it on the cocaine. They blame it on, back then, hold on, wait a minute. I'm trying to think. I think it was acid, like, you know, PCP. They blame it on everything. And to me, like, I didn't want no part of that, because you see the destruction it caused. But once again, look at my situation. If I couldn't go out there and get me a decent job, you know what? What my choice is? Because once again, the real money was in the drugs. So slowly you get into that. And once you learn and understand the return, because the competition is great. You got people there selling vials of crack, $20. Some people selling $10. So the objective was, when you learn the game, guess what happened? Okay, they selling that for $20. Guess what? I want to sell mine for $5, but it's going to look like it got $20 worth of drugs. So who you think they're going to come to? Everything is a competition. Everything's about right now is, guess what, man? The turnover, how fast you can flip everything over, man. And people do not understand. You have so many people out there wanting to be drug dealers, not understanding right now. And guess what? The more money you make, the more powerful you become, the more dangerous you become. Because right now is being in that game, man. People gonna come, stick-up kids gonna come try to get you. Besides stick-up kids gonna try to come get you, the cops or the FBI or the DEA. So you sit back and think about it, everybody coming at you. So automatically, guess what? You're going to protect yourself. And how are you going to protect yourself? By any means necessary. So you're going to make sure you arm with the right people, the right security. So when somebody try to drop the decimal in your bank account, guess what? You ready to take them out. And now you sit back and you look at it. What the heck is going on? And people don't understand it, because once you get it established, and people don't, you don't just walk in, I'm sell drug and I'm gonna make money. No, it's a struggle. It's a struggle. Sometimes you take losses before you can even make gain. And even right now, I had a situation where it's like, you know, out of nowhere, I had a family member start, like, you know, my stuff been out on YouTube for the last few years. And being out on YouTube, you know, nobody, Nobody came and questioned. Nobody came and tried to, oh, he's lying or this is that. But I had a family member that came out of the woodwork and tried to, oh, well, you know, he's lying. He didn't do this. He didn't do that. He didn't do that. But with this family member at one point in time he said, you know, he did another piece. Ponzi was on that piece, and he praised and is saying just the opposite of what he starts saying. And at one point in time when he came home, whereas he was working for me. He was, you know, so, and you know how you just sit back and you just think about different things. Because at one point in time, he told me a story. Back then, I used to be on the go. So, you know, you got to the position, I didn't have to do anything. Based upon my dealing with Lorenzo Fat Cat Nichols, right now I used to be flying to Attica, Buffalo, New York, to see him on a regular basis. So when this individual came home, what he should do is, he was in the kitchen. He used to like cook up 5 to 10 kilos of cocaine at a time. And when that used to happen, it's like he used to always tell me, why every time I look around when I cook up, you know, by the time you leave point A and get to point B, and I go to point B and I weigh it again, we'll lose anywhere from 250 grams to a kilo of coke. So I'm telling him, look, man, the money that we are making, I'm not even worried about that. You know, because once again, you don't get pure. Everybody like to think they get pure product. Everybody cutting on this stuff. You know, unless you get from Pablo Escobar yourself, a lot of people whacking it and trying to make a hustle. So he's telling me, like, why every time we lose it anywhere from 250 grams to a kilo? And you know what? I told myself, listen, man, probably the quality of the product or whatever. So he like, well, no, I don't think so, whatever. So he kept saying it. It kept happening. And I just make a mental note because I didn't pay no mind based upon you making 40 a day. Then one of my guys, you know, every time you look around, everybody get paid. They go buy their little jewelry, their little sweat, you know, go to the hotel, buy their little car. They buy what they want. But he always had money. And I used to tell these other guys, y'all better start being him and save your money, man. I said, this guy, he's smart with his money. He used to be buying me stuff. And, you know, wait a minute. So, you know, one time in particular, I was out and about in another area. And one of the guys came up on me from my old neighborhood and said, yo, man, Glaze, I need your help. I said, what you need my help about? He said, man, every time I see some, he always pull out on me his gun trying to. I said, he said, at your spot. I said, which one? So he told me the location. And I'm saying to myself, we don't have no spot over there. So automatically, I know he got family member. I know my guy got family member over there. So now, based on the information I got about drugs is being missing when it leaving point A to point B, you don't have to have all the pieces of the puzzle. But once again, you can have 100-piece puzzle, but 2 pieces of vital information, and you're able to put them together. I was able to put it together. He was right. My man was robbing us. And basically right now, selling it under my protection, making plenty of money. Now that take a lot of balls, man. That take a lot of balls.
So you know what? Someone like that. Let me just throw a quick photo of Pappy Mason because that's who you were talking about, Pappy Mason.
Mm-hmm.
So that's Pappy Mason. Now, Pappy Mason was a serious guy. I mean, this guy was a strong arm. He was a protector. He was a hitman, right?
Mm-hmm. He was a little bit of everything. You know what? Pap was a militant, man. And people don't understand. Pap is, if he love you, he love you. If he hate you, he hates you. He grew up in an environment whereas, like, you know, he saw a lot of police brutality. So right now, he hated any type of form of law enforcement. And, you know, even with that being said, he had that militant mindset. But in the same token, like right now is, if he had your back unconditionally. But if he didn't, like I said right now, and you had him as an enemy, you got a problem. You got a serious problem on your hand.
Now, growing up in your neighborhood, you know, you had a whole bunch of crews. You know, obviously you did business with Fat Cat. You did business with McGriff, right?
No, we all part of the round table. Like
Okay.
Fat Cat had an organization, and he got us all part of, like, you know, everybody had their own stuff, their own team. But what he did was almost similar to five, almost similar to Nicky Barnes and the Council. What he tried to do is bring everybody together. So the difference is when you bring strong individuals together and they got their own crew, that was reason right after the kidnapping of his wife and right after a home invasion of one of his mistresses, it's like, you know what? Too much stuff was happening. So if he brought Supreme, Prince, Pappy, myself, Bug Out, and put us all together, now we from Brooklyn, they from Queens, and basically my people technicality become his people, because again, whether they like him or not, it's like, if you love me, guess what? And I'm telling you that, guess what? Here it is, and we all go to war, we go into war together. So he was kind of like he put it together and made us one. And even with that being said, it was called a round table. Even with that being said, something like, you know, that Edward Byrne hit that came down the pipeline, that was supposed to be, yo, put it to the table, put it through, like, let's get everybody's opinion on that. And everybody, if that would have came to the table, everybody say, hey, no, you can't do nothing like that. You know, you cannot do nothing like that. And you know what, being that, like for example, with you and you know, Italian, mafia, known in history, it was this guy, you know what I'm saying? He was an older gentleman when I met him, you know, when I had the body and I was in Brooklyn House. His name was Stephen Motis. You ever heard of Stephen? And he had a partner named Fritz. He had a partner named Fritz. They caught a body, I think, in the Ridgewood section, and they didn't know. It was a lady detective and a guy. I think one of them last name was Burt, and they got into a shootout, and they didn't know it was a cop, and they killed the cop. And right now is, you know, the Five family made them turn themselves in. So case back in like 85, 86 or whatever. But it was like, you know, even back then, everybody know, guess what? You don't kill a cop. It's bad for business.
Well, you mentioned Edward Byrnes. Let me explain to the people, because they might be lost. And, you know, let me just give them an update. You know, Edward Byrnes was a police officer at the time. He was protecting a witness, I think, in front of his house. He was parked there, and all of a sudden, someone runs up on him, and they blast him, right? They hit him like a couple times, 5 times or something. Now, this was a big thing, because you are killing a police officer, you know, that's it. Now you killed a law enforcement officer, and, you know, everyone's going to come down on you. FBI, marshals, every law enforcement is going to come down. They're going to shake up the whole neighborhood. So you know what? Let's talk about that at that time, what was going on.
Hey, man, that was like some real heavy time. I always like to say, during that period of time when Edward Byrne got killed, I go back to that day. I just left that block. I just left the area. And right now is me and a gentleman, Bug Out. We was partner. And my cut that day was like 40. So he gave me 40 cash. I left. And when I left and I got back to my neighborhood, and right now, 3 o'clock in the morning, I got back to Cypress and I'm scoping everything out. And as I'm scoping everything out, I see somebody like coming from, like, you know, Sutter Avenue, Euclid Avenue train station. And to me, we always on point. So I'm on point. And right now was this guy went by. And as he went by, like, take in mind, like 3 o'clock in the morning, we slapped 5. And as he walked past, something dawned on me when I was in prison, when I was fighting the murder. He was there when a friend of mine was robbed. And I told those guys, listen, here it is. It can't happen like that. Get it back. And they didn't do that. So what I'm saying is, despite he didn't rob them, but he didn't stop them either. And when he slapped me 5, it's like, despite that incident happened like 86 when I was away, this is February 88. And as he going by, that registered in my head. And right then, as he going through the night of the projects, I went behind him and, I basically fired upon him and he died. And during that period of time, during that same period of time, not knowing Edward Byrne was sitting in the car. You know, rookie police officer, 22 years old, he was sitting in the car. And if anybody know anything about the night shift, if you work a graveyard shift or whatever, you by yourself, you're bored. Keep in mind, they didn't have all the cell phones and the movies, and you know, you're occupied like they do now. So he was dozing. He went to sleep. He fell asleep in the car. So what happened was these guys knew that, and you got two individuals. One went to the passenger side and knocked on a window, woke him up. He was startled, and as he looking and try to see what's going on over there, the guy went to the driver's side and cut loose like 5 times. Boom, 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 boom. So even with that being said, like I told you, I left Queen that morning. Like I say right now, we had several spots out there. One in particular was at a bodega, where it's with like a gold mine. So anybody that don't know anything about a bodega, it's like a mini grocery stores that sell everything. But in the back of that bodega, we had a big steel door that customers used to come back there, slide their money under, and they used to get their drugs. So the guy from the bodega that morning, like, you know what I'm saying, like, what, I don't know, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock in the morning, my pay going off or whatever. And like I'm saying, I'm still like a couple hours of sleep. And as I call him back, he got, you know, a heavy accent, you know, speaking Espanol. I don't understand none of that. And I'm trying to understand and make out what he was saying. But he was telling me like the cops there at the bodega and they trying to take down the door. So I'm thinking to myself, still kind of drowsy, wipe the coal out my eye to see who paid me and why, you know. So I'm trying to see like what's going on. And I'm thinking these cops must be seeing a drug buy. So they're going to be there for a little while, but then they're going to get another call telling them like something else worse happened, that they got to leave. But here it is. I hung up the phone. Next thing you know, I'm listening. I'm with that picture with me with all that jewelry, I'm sitting there. That's the kitchen. I'm sitting in there, radio station. They said, we interrupt this program. I think it was WBLS, to bring you, like I'm saying, like the headline, like I'm saying, it's like a rookie police officer were executed this morning in the wee hours in Queens, South Jamaica. And then right now I'm listening to the area. I'm like, huh? And it's saying 107 Inwood. I'm saying that's right there. That's our area. So as I'm looking at it, as I'm taking it, I don't feel away because I'm saying, well, we didn't have nothing to do with it. Because if we would have, I would have been involved. I would have been notified somewhere whatsoever. So long story short, whereas like Pappy called me on Lorenzo Fat Cat Nichols, his lady mistress at the time, they called me on a conference call, and they say that right after the police got killed, our SWAT team came and moved Lorenzo from the Brooklyn House of Detention, maximum security, and they took him. They don't know where. So everybody was trying to locate him. So to me, based upon my conversation that I had with Pap, I was just like, man, like, and listen to him, like, we don't got nothing to do with that. He didn't give me any indication that we had anything to do with that. And I told him, I said, look, because he was out on a $300,000 bail for the parole officer murder, like I'm saying, on Brian Rooney. So just so happened they rushed him back because he had a mistrial. And right,
breaking up.
300.
You're breaking up. You're breaking up. I'll wait for you, Glaze. Well, anyway, at this time, Edward Byrnes was a rookie cop. He was protecting a witness in Queens, and
Jimmy,
they roll up on him and they kill him.
I'm back.
Okay.
What about you, Jimmy?
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, we're going in and out. That's all right. When you come back, just finish the story. It's all good.
Can y'all still hear us? Let us know. Let me know.
Yeah, you're good. You hear me?
Can y'all hear us? Yeah,
okay,
we
good,
back.
good.
We back. We back. We back. We back.
Sorry, guys. Sorry about the interference. Okay. Go ahead. Yeah,
Okay.
Continue.
So, where was I? I was saying right now they moved fat. No, okay. Pappy was bail out. They lower his bail after the
they moved Lorenzo to a location that no one knew about.
Yeah, and right now, like I told Pappy, because he got bail out. They lower his bail from 500,000 to 300,000, and all of a sudden they let him out. And the DA was like pissed. Say, Judge, if he didn't have 500,000, what make him got 300,000? Come on, give me a break. And right now, is he told him if we let that man out, it's going to be a bloodbath out there. We can't let that man out. So anyway, within 10 days, they rush him back to trial because when he got arrested for the parole officer murder, he had like one of those little in his boots. So that's where they took him back to trial. So even as I'm talking to him, I say, look, I'm glad you're back in there because if you was out, they would have been blaming you. You would have been a prime suspect. And, he said, yeah, you're right, man. You're 100% right. And just that happened, like, after we end that conversation, I refused to go to Queens that day. I waited until it got pitch black. And then when I went to Queens, I basically told him, I said, we met up at Fat Cat's sister Viola house. And when we met up, I said, listen, man, whoever did this, I believe they did it to make our area hot. So they can destroy our operations so they can get, all the funds that was being sold, I'm saying, by the drugs, they can get it now. And I said, listen, once I find out who was responsible for that, guess what? I'm going to hit him. I'm going to kill him. So when I left and went outside, one of the guys came up on me and told me, he said, yo, man, the hit came from us. And like he told me, Pap gave the order. I'm like, oh, man, come on, man. And like you say right now, that was devastating because, like I told you, back then, that street was so hot, man, that you can actually took a cigarette and put it on the ground and light it up because that's how hot that street was. You got to remember, George W. Bush campaigned with Edward Byrne badge in his hand. And that's what started the war on drugs, man.
And, I want to, give a shout out to Edward Byrne's family, prayers and rest in peace to him. That was a hard thing. But you know what? You talk about a parole officer. I just want the people that are watching us to know how serious you guys were. I mean, Fat Cat and your crew, because you guys were really some serious guys. Listen, we did a lot of damage out there when I was young. But you guys really were like some serious guys. I mean, scary guys. But you talked about this parole officer. You know what? Tell them the story about the parole officer. How who's the one who had the parole officer?
Fat Cat, Lorenzo Fat Cat. It was Lorenzo Fat Cat Nichols parole officer. So you sit back and think about it. With Fat Cat, I don't know who in that picture, man. Well, that's the dude Whirl and Little Kim. They don't have that's Whirl and Little Kim. Okay. Yeah. So that's okay. That's Pappy. Okay. Loot, Supreme, and Prince. But right now it was Cat parole officer. Fat Cat got violated. Once he got violated because he caught a drug case, and just so happened they snuck up on him. Nobody expect that Cat would be in the game room. They got all that money, all that drug. Just so happened they caught him in there, and when they caught him in there, it's like a stroke of luck. Oh, snap, we got Fat Cat. So what happened is when he got bailed out, he went and met with his parole officer and told him right now is, basically like it was a mistake. Like, like he told him some type of excuse that the parole officer didn't buy and he violated him. Once he violated him, Cat never told him to kill the parole officer. He never told the guys to kill the parole officer. What he told him is, I want him, bust him up, scare him, bust him up, slap him around or whatever. Sit back and think about it, okay? Who in the heck gonna go after parole officer that license to carry, that go to the range? They're professional. So like right now, you trying to get some young guys to go after them. So automatically, in order you to get caught up or get that close up onto somebody that actually trained to carry a gun, and guess what? You scared yourself. Because once again, you know what? In order to get ass, you got to bring ass. Like you know what I'm saying right now, you're going to fight. So in order for you to have a chance to get that person, close up on that person. And the person got that opportunity to get you before you get them. So what that means, first of all, to doing because they were trying to press older guys like a Pappy.
You're breaking up.
Like this is on. No. And that's that. Huh?
You're good now.
I'm breaking up. Am I back?
Yeah, you're back.
Yeah. So once again, kids really had a chance. These kids didn't have a chance, man. They did something that, like, trust me, each and every one of them lived to regret it. From the parole officer murder to the police officer murder, you got guys been there 34 years. For what? Only thing they had to do is, you remember Nancy Reagan used to say no to drugs? Yes. They should have said no to bulliness. They should say no to trying to prove a point. No to negativity. No to nonsense.
Now, also, at this time, I want to ask you, because you did business, you had your crew, and you were doing business with, the crew in Queens. Like, when you were doing business with them, I'm sure you felt like, what, how much can I trust these guys? Because, when you're in the street, who can you trust?
And you know what? Honestly speaking, I didn't have a trust issue. Because once again, like when I got acquitted for the murder back in '87, I had the opportunity to get down with Baby Sam. If you Google Samuel Baby Sam Edmondson, Baby Sam was like the real deal. When I got acquitted, it's like I was like a LeBron James, like on free agent. Like, Baby Sam came and recruited me himself, wanted me to get down with him. Fat Cat wanted me to get down with him. Pappy wanted me to get down with him. But the difference was like why I chose Cat, because basically right now is he was the CEO and made me like, COO. I'm head of security. I had my own thing, but I was making sure everything was taken care in his organization. So it was no, how can I say it, like, it was no trust issue, because once again, it's like out of respect. Sometimes I think like right now, I was more loyal to him, you know what I'm saying? Because once again, he put me in a position to be a millionaire. He put me in position to get where I was at. And seeing that's the difference. And a lot of times people ask me why did I take over? Take over for what? Everybody got to know their limitation. All money ain't good money. So to me, I was comfortable where I was at. So even with that, like as far as trust issue, I didn't have that problem with them.
Now, the thing is, you know what? Back in the day, you mentioned that there was an original 50 Cent. Tell me about that.
Oh, man. Little 50, Kelvin Martin, man. It's funny, man, because I met him when we was kids. I probably was 6 and he was 5 years old. And one of the little dudes, man, like, even back then, cursing like a little seller, didn't care, didn't fear anything. And like he had that Napoleon complex, that little big man complex. Despite he was like a small individual, like right now is he raised hell, even from being like 5, 6 years old. And what I'm saying is he went around as he got older, used to rob, you know what I'm saying, stick up people, got, bodies, killed for some people. And when you look at that or whatever, and people do not understand, like, how he had a motto. He was going to get rich or die trying, that the rapper 50 Cent incorporated. You know, so even right now, you watch somebody say 50 Cent was from Fort Greene. Yeah, he's from Fort Greene. Then you watch somebody say 50 was only 5'2". And see, people do not even understand about the size, man. Because right now is size don't really mean anything. It's that heart, man. It's that mentality. And with him, it's a lot of stuff that he didn't even give a damn about. And to me, I think back then we all had it. Even you, and like I'm saying with the Bath Avenue crew, it's like we all had death wish, and we didn't even know it. We was like walking, dead man walking, and we didn't even know it. So when you sit back and you think about it, and you ask yourself, and I look at all the things that I've been through, and right now it's like even at one point in time when I ask myself this quality question, who am I to say who lived and who died? Because you causing havoc, you calling shot, you getting people, you killing people, or you getting people killed. Who am I to say who lived and who died? I wasn't God. But you get into that position. You think you want something, but you don't even get it.
Now, let me just explain to the people in the chat, because they're saying 50 Cent was 5'3". There was 50 Cent, not the rapper. There's an original 50 Cent that was from East New York. Am I correct?
No, 50 Cent was from Bed-Stuy. He was, you know what, better yet, he was original, born in the Bronx.
Okay.
Was like right now have family in the Fort Greene section of Brooklyn. And I met 50 Cent in Bedford-Stuyvesant on Horsey between Patch and Ralph as a little kid. So the difference is right now, 50 was, you know what, wherever he lay his hat was his home.
But I just want to explain to the people in the chat that's not 50 Cent the rapper we're talking about.
Yeah, the rapper 50 Cent, admit to right now is he heard so much about 50 Cent that he took that handle. He took his name and he took his motto, get rich or die trying. The difference is the rapper, you know what I'm saying, he got rich. You know what I'm saying? So he got rich. It was just the opposite.
Yeah. Now, you know what? Me, back in the day when I was a kid, all the drug dealers, eventually what we do is we stuck them up, we robbed them, and we made sure that they paid us every week. Every week they would have to pay us. And, we would pistol whip them. We would put fare into them. And, Paulie G, eventually we would get like maybe $10,000 a week off these drug deals, and we'd be splitting the money up, at the end of the week, every Friday. We give a couple of dollars to the wise guy, Joe Benanti, and, we would just divide it up. And every Friday we go buy sneakers and new sweatsuits and stuff like that. Have a couple of dollars in our pocket. But the thing is, you know what? Always trying to look good. You always want to look good. Now, the thing is, too, with all these dope dealers and people in the neighborhood selling drugs, why is it we always want to shine? I mean, we want to have the big chain. We want to have the nice car. What is it?
You got to remember, okay, sit back and think about it, okay? What New York City is known for?
Big.
What New York City is known for? Broadway, light, camera, action. Back then, when we was coming up, we used to use this terminology, stop fronting. Okay, you remember that terminology?
Sure.
So the bottom line is front is acting. Most of us that grew up in that street life, I don't care what geographical area you grow up in, we was fronting. Because it's like we see other people doing it and we want to, we want to copy that style. So what I mean is everybody feel if you look good, you got the fancy clothes, you got the big jewelry, you got the nice cars, house, whatever. Everybody want that. The girls are, oh man, you got the best girls, but we are fronting. So everybody, they feel when you didn't have anything. Like I know people that used to pull roaches out of their cereal to eat at breakfast. So when you don't have anything, a lot of times people feel by bling, 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 I'm showing that I made it. You didn't really made it. You just put a target on your back. The difference is, a lot of people don't understand is you got so many people that, guess what? They made it, but they wasn't on Front Street. They were smart enough to discipline themselves and was able to get what they can get out of there and went legit. But a lot of times, everybody want to floss because they think they're going to be like Key Sweat, make it last forever. When you're in that street life and you doing all that negative and that nonsense, nothing lasts forever. Nothing lasts forever. Only thing come fast is trouble. easy to get into, hard to get out. And look what you're saying. You see these guys. And you and your crew, you used to rob them, piss with them. They was giving you like $10,000 a week. And people do not understand that. Everybody is not strong enough to, guess what, go against these tough guys. So a lot of people couldn't even sell drug in New York. That's why they are going to Washington, D.C. or go like that. Because they couldn't do that. What? They couldn't do that in their own neighborhood. And look at it, what we was doing. Only did a quick fly eye clothes. We want the fancy jewelry. We want to bling, bling, bling control.
You're coming in and out, Glaze. I'll wait for you to come back. You there, Glaze? Guys, thanks for being patient. Yeah. Well, we got 155 people in the chat. Thanks for coming in. Yeah. So, Glaze, tell me, what was your turning point of you coming forward and saying, you know what, I had enough of this shit. I'm facing life in jail. Talk about that. I don't think Glaze is with me right now. I'll wait for you to come in, Glaze.
We back.
You there, Glaze? Okay, yeah, you're back. Okay.
Yeah, I'm here.
So, Glaze, all right, what was your turning point of when you decided to come forward? Let's talk about that.
Okay. My turning point was the federal government, after Edward Byrne got killed, we didn't know that we was on an investigation. So here it is from February until August. They accumulate 1,100 hours of wiretap tape. Basically right now they had us bugged, and they was listening to all the criminal activity that we was like participating. What happened on August 11th, they came up with Operation Horse Collar, and they arrested, like, saying over 100 something people, New York, Brooklyn, Queens, Virginia, Alabama, everywhere.
Wow.
All over the place. And right now, I escaped that raid. When they came, the only address they had was at my Cypress headquarters, 1266. And when they came, I was nowhere to be found. And I can remember getting a phone call that morning. And right now, that person that was on the other line say, look, I don't know who they looking for. They looking for you, or rather they had that whole building like with SWAT and feds like surrounded. And everybody that was coming into and leaving out, guess what they was doing? They was searching them or making them show ID. So I like, whoa. And the only reason I wasn't there because my son was born. And after South Carolina. So here it is. Even with that being said, you talk about, oh shit, you're in the world. With that being said, I was on a, and even I couldn't even to get a family member to take me and my wife at the time to the hospital. I hate my family member to take me and my wife to the hospital to take my son to his appointment. And what wound up happening was every white man that I seen, I thought was like them FBI. And I lasted on the run, try to get plastic surgery for like 90 something days. And when they finally picked me up, and you say, look, okay.
He's frozen again, guys. Guys, I apologize for it. Thanks for being patient. I know it's a little annoying, but yeah. So, these guys were some really serious characters. I tell you, killing a parole officer, you know, killing a cop. I mean, back in the 80s, everyone was buck wild, man. You know why? It was all about survival of the fittest. I mean, if you didn't kill, they looked at you as you were weak. You back, Glaze? You know, and that's how it was back then. You know, you had to kill. If you didn't kill, then you would probably get killed. You had to show some sign of strength, you know, growing up in these neighborhoods. I'm going to wait for Glaze to come back and let him finish what he was saying. But let me shout out to...
Hello.
Okay, you're back.
Okay.
Yeah, you're back.
So like I say, we back from down south jail, back from Talladega, Alabama. And I was on this plane back to New York. And you know what? You talk about turbulence. We hit so much of turbulence. Man, I didn't care if that plane went up in flame and crashed. Even with that being said, when we got back to
yeah, he went out again. Yeah, we're gonna have to give Glaze another interview after this one. Fix this one up. Yeah, you're back.
Okay, when we got back to, like I said right now, when I see they had like a slight earthquake and building shake. I said, man, look, I didn't care if that whole building go down. I didn't care because in life that I knew. Even then, I had a lawyer, Murray Cutler. Murray Cutler's son, Bruce Cutler, I got him. So even right now, Murray's.
I'm going to ask him to step out and come back. Yeah. Glaze, you want to step out and come back? What's up, Coach? I see you in the chat. Yeah, that might be it, what you said, Coach. Every text and email might cut him out. You might be right about that. See, now we lost him. But guys, yeah, when he comes back, I'll ask him a couple more questions. But I appreciate everyone in the chat. Let me give a couple shout outs. Coach, thanks for coming by. Gaetano, Bracco, Roy Munson, Mid Range. Also, you know, send in some questions that we could ask Glaze. You know, we're coming to the end. Maybe another half hour. We're going to be done with this interview. But I appreciate every one of you. Flatbush, Brooklyn, I see you. Richard Morella, thank you. Roy Munson, Austin J, my guy. Okay, we lost him. Let me just send him another. Okay, I sent him another link. So Glaze, if you see it, I sent you another link. Come back in. So look, these guys were serious guys, man. You had the Supreme team. You had his crew. I mean, these guys were smoking people like it was nothing. You know, this is the way of life they had. I mean, you know, you were just coming up, selling dope. I mean, killing people. You know, that's how the 80s were. Here he is. Okay. Yeah, we're back.
Okay.
Yeah, so we were talking about what made you come forward. I also want to talk about, you know, the 75th precinct. You know, I think that was one of the most corrupt precincts at the time. Yeah, Glaze.
We back?
Yeah, we're back. Yeah, we were talking about what made you come forward, and also, I mean, the 75th precinct was one of the most corrupt precincts at the time.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, Glaze, you're coming in and out. I'm gonna answer some questions while he comes back. Jimmy, do you guys and Bad Avenue hear about the Supreme Team and Eminem crew when you were growing up? You know what? I did hear about these guys. You know, they came from a different area, a rough area, but yes, I did hear about them. You there, Glaze?
Yeah, can you see me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so you know what? We were talking about what made you come forward. You know, what was your inspiration of, you know what, changing your life around too?
You know what? Initially, what wound up happening, Jimmy, was it wasn't that. It was like a situation whereas sometimes you can be more loyal and dedicated to somebody than they are to you. And what wound up happening was I went to Cat, and when I got back to New York, MCC, I went to him. I told him, I said, look, they want you. They want Pappy. They want the Chinese Connect. And basically right now is let everybody go against us. Let your mother, let your wife, let your sisters, your niece, let them go against us. And right now is we're going to get life. What he told me, he said, look, man, why don't you go to trial first? Let's see what they got against you. Then I go to trial. I'm like, time out. You already got 25 to life. I don't have nothing. But the difference is right now is when he told me that, he opened my eyes. That was the second time that he saved my life. Sometimes you can be more loyal to people than they are to you.
And I know all about that.
Mm-hmm. So even with that being said, it's like right now it's like, you know, like, man, hold up. Did you understand what you just said to me? And like I always try to tell people, I am not the smartest person in the world, but let me let you in a secret. I'm not the dumbest. And right now is when I made that decision, that was it. Because once again, it's like, hey, you have to sit back and think. And as you sit back and think and you beat yourself up about so many different things, because once again, you're going against the grain. You're going against everything that you once believed in, everything that you thought was true and whole, but yet in still regards to what? It wasn't. You believe in that wrong situation, that wrong thing, that wrong, that you're brainwashed. You know what I'm saying? Thinking that right is wrong and wrong is right, when it's just the opposite.
And that's how the neighborhoods are as we grow up, right? The good guy is the bad guy, and the bad guy is the good guy.
Yeah.
But you know what? Listen, I want to talk about, because I have you on here, and you know, we chop it up, we talk, we just became friends. And you know what? I want to talk about, look, I grew up in an Italian neighborhood. Obviously, my skin is white, you're black. Like, you know, in our neighborhoods, there's some kind of, what's the difference between my neighborhoods and your neighborhood? I'm saying, besides skin color.
You know what? I think
because I want to break that. I'm saying, you know, I want to, you know, talk about that.
But sit back and think about it. Like I told you, I think at the beginning of this conversation, whereas like when it came down to race, I love New York because of the versatility. It teaches diversity. Whereas like it was no race. People was people. You grew up with every nationality in the world, and you treat people like you got good black, you got bad black, you got good white, you got bad white, you got good Hispanic, you got bad Hispanic. So the difference is right now, it doesn't matter what your nationality, it's like what's in your heart. It's like the words that come out of your mouth. It's how do you treat other people? And that's it. So at the end of the day, I watch people when they start talking about with this racism stuff. You know, I don't like this person because they're, you know, green. Are they orange? Are they yellow? Oh, hold on, wait a minute. If you see that orange woman right there, or you see that purple woman right there, if you let that orange or purple or yellow woman sit on your face, then guess what? But you don't like that orange or purple or blue guy. Something wrong with that picture to me. You can't play half step. Either you like them or you don't.
Let's talk about the 75th precinct. How corrupt was that precinct?
You know what, man? Like, hey, look, right now it's like, if you look at the 7-5, I guess very, very corrupt. My dealing with them is like every time they arrest me all the time. They used to come for me, and I remember a situation that I had drugs in the car, and when they stopped me, and to me, like right now, I'm like, oh man, what I was telling you about that 3 strikes, about how many felonies, automatically with that drug that I had in my car, I know I was going to jail. That's life. So they stopped me. And when they stopped me, you know, it's like, you know, plain clothes, like, you know, undercover. And right now, when they go like this, man, like they look and they looked in the car and they went and they brought up the aluminum. And when they look at the aluminum open up, you know, right now I can see, remember the guy, you know what I'm saying, the young guy, looking at the tall, slim guy, they call him Sarge. He go like this, Sarge. They open it up. They said, what is it? I'm like, Scooby-Doo. Mm-hmm. So as they open up and looking at him, he look at it. He look at the drugs, look at me, look at the Sarge. Okay? Did it again. Look at the drug, look at me, then look at the Sarge. The next time he looked down, man, like I told you, man, like I got the hell out of Dodge, man. I ran. Like I told you right now, Ricochet Rabbit, pew, pew, pew. Like, you know what I'm saying? Run, Forrest, run. And I got away. And now you talking about, man, like I'm scared to death. But just so happened, the car was not in my name. It was my car. But guess what? I had in a buddy name. And he happened to be working up in Terrytown, Sing Sing, you know, at General Motors. And what he did was report, I contact my lawyer, he report the car stolen. And the only thing they say, they impounded the car. Only thing they say, they stopped the car for a routine check and the driver fled. They didn't say nothing about the drugs. And it was no sweat off my back. They could have it. So automatically, probably if I didn't run, they probably would be like, okay, cool. Well, here it is. We're not going to, you know, this drug charge going to go away, but you work for us now. You know, here it is. Every week we're going to want to snap. But I didn't even give the opportunity because I know I got the heck out of Dodge, man.
Let's talk about your YouTube channel because you got a good YouTube channel. Give a shout out of your YouTube channel.
Hey, it's the Brian Glaze Gibbs YouTube channel. Right now is like, to me, what I do is I share my life experience and I speak about, you know, people that I know are different situation, circumstance. The objective is for that channel is how do I utilize that platform as a form of, you know, encouragement, empowerment, enlightening, ministry. You know, right now is letting people know it's not how you start, it's how you finish. Because at one point in time, I was the problem. Between the age of 14 to 24 years old, I hated who I was. Because once again, I was lost. I was traumatized. I was hurt. Hurt people hurt other people. And right now, I didn't even know it at the time. I had a death wish. And when you got a death wish, you don't even quite understand it. We feeling we got something to prove. Right now, I can remember a young guy, an older gentleman, when I was in Fishkill, and I was like 19 years old. And he said, you know what? Here it is. When you get out, your young boy's going to kill you. I said, young boy's going to kill me? I'm 19. I said, how the young boy's going to kill me? He said, based upon your attitude. I said, no, they're not. He said, why you say they're not going to kill you? I said, because I'll get them before they get me. And see, people do not understand, folks. It's like right now it's a vicious cycle. And we don't get it. It's a vicious cycle out there. Whereas, guess what? We all walk around here like we got something to prove. Everybody want to be tough guy. Everybody want to stick their chests out. Everybody want to be gangster. And right now, like even sit back, I'm going to ask you something, Jimmy. And it's like right now, you know, you grew up in the street. How come, like guys, you know, wise guy or your buddies and them, how come back then when they come home from doing 5, 10, 15, 20 years, they get treated like a rock star? But the difference is, only thing they did, they went to jail because they fell. They went to jail because they was taking shortcut. But when they come home, they get the royal red carpet. But when these parents, you know, did it right the first time, you know, saying, taking care of their kids, doing the best that they can do. Or when these kids go to wait and they go to school, guess what? And they come back with a degree, or they go to the military and they retire, and they come back to the neighborhood with that positive mindset and attitude. Why don't they get the red carpet treatment? That's how backwards and brainwashed we as a society is. Sit back and think about it. You saw that milk crate challenge?
I'm not sure if I seen that.
It was the milk crate challenge. They had people from everywhere, all part of the world, going on the milk crate challenge to see if they can go over. And you watching people busting their behind, breaking their neck, and very few people went over it. But I'm saying I was amazed how they can get everybody, every country, every nationality, every like a male, female, everybody participate in that. But for something that is like, blatantly dumbed down. But we can't get people to participate, stopping homeless, stopping world hunger, stopping racism. I'm like, but we can get people to participate with some good old dumb stuff. That's why I'm saying we are brainwashed and we're so backwards. And we don't get together and get it right and make this happen from a positive standpoint, we all going to lose. We all going to lose.
I tell you, you know what, Glaze? The little time I know you, you're a big inspiration. You're all about redemption. And I see a very educational, wise guy here. You really are. You're very wise, because you're speaking wisdom to me and to everybody out there. But I wanted to ask you too. You mind if I drop a link and we'll throw maybe 3 guys, we'll get 3 people a chance to come on and they ask you one question?
Yeah, go ahead. Make it happen.
Right? Let's do it. You know what I mean? Because they like to do this stuff, my family over here. So I'm going to drop a link. I'm going to pick 3 people. So you come on, you could ask Glaze a question. Glaze was a series character out there. He turned his life around. He's in the street 25 years now. Going solid, doing the right thing, wrote a book, Beyond Lucky. I mean, you know what? I mean, you can't do better than that, seriously, Going from a negative to a positive, that's what it's all about. Like you said, it ain't where you start, it's where you finish, And who wants to finish in jail? Who wants to die in jail? Seriously, come on. You know what? I like my freedom. I like having a woman. I like to eat anything I want. I like to be around my kids. You know what? When you're a kid, you're young, dumb, full of cum, and you think you can walk through walls until you get caught and you throw your life away. That's why you got to open up your eyes, go to school, take a test, and do the right thing with your life and make your parents proud. That's what you got to do. So I dropped a link. You guys are welcome to come on. You ask Glaze a question. We'll chop it up quick, and then we're going to let Glaze go because I know I took a lot of his time already. But I really appreciate him coming on, and we'll do this again one day.
And see, I see some questions. Everybody asks the question about, did I know Glaze? Jimmy asked Glaze if he knew Alpo, AZ, and Rich Porter. You know what? All of us ran into each other at the Red Parrot, the Apollo Theater, like different basketball games, like street basketball game. And right now is I have more of a relationship with Alpo, where as far as we was trying to get together 2 days before he died, we was trying to get together. And right now with this group in Vegas to put something together for me and Alpo to do a podcast.
I never met Alpo. I met a couple of his co-defendants I was locked up with. But you know what? I don't know. I heard, some good things about Alpo. I mean, then when you hear this guy got killed, especially, I think it was in Harlem, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's pretty insane. You get killed where you were running around the streets at that time, where you were doing dirty and you got killed in that spot. I mean, I know it's pretty crazy.
Yeah. See, right now, Roderick Molina, talk about the basketball game at the Basie Park Project. Those guys, like most of it was called Sniff, and I forgot it's supposed to be like Supreme, whatever, but they was used to paying like games 50 to 100,000 on a game. And sometimes they used to have professional ball players like Mark Jackson or a few others. And even with that being said, I can remember I got into a shootout with a few people out there when Alpo and different individuals around. So like, and then it used to be a situation whereas with the Supreme team, if Supreme was around, the Supreme team used to knock them to the floor and basically jump on them to protect them, so making sure no bullets hit them. Back then, they guys was into like bulletproof baseball cap, bulletproof T-shirt. Like, come on, man. Like he was like, the president, and they were Secret Service.
Unbelievable. And I remember when all that bulletproof vest stuff started coming out, bulletproof vest shirts, but it's something. But growing up in the 80s, you got a couple years on me.
I'm 91, man. I tell my guys I'm 91 years old all the time, man. So the difference is right now, being 91, like, when you look good, you feel good, you do good. When you look good, you feel good, you do good. Glaze, can you share a Mike Tyson story? Okay, let me tell you something about Mike Tyson. I remember right now, at one point in time, when Mike Tyson became the heavyweight champion of the world, here it is, like Cypress, East New York. And I remember one evening, it was pitch black, and you saw what it was. I think it was a Rolls Royce driving through. And here it is right now. Like, hold on, wait a minute. Who the heck going to drive a Rolls Royce? You talking about $200,000, $300,000 car through Cyprus. But the unique thing about that, it wasn't the fact that it was a Rolls Royce. It was the fact that they had a few guys had like submachine guns out the window. So to me, then to come to find out, it was guys that was with Mike Tyson protecting him. Because once again, people don't understand, man. Desperate people do desperate things. And a lot of times people don't understand when you got money and you go in a neighborhood and they don't have nothing to lose, guess what? They gonna go through you, or they gonna go for you. So the difference was Mike was smart enough, when he used to come around initially until he was able to build certain relationship up, he made sure when he came through dangerous area like that, he was right. He was definitely right. I got somebody definitely checking out your YouTube. You know what? Like I told you folks, I got a lot of different content that's out there. I just hit 600 videos that was uploaded on my platform within the last year or so. 600 videos equal to 57,000 subscribers, equal to 8 million views. And right now is like, shout out to all my supporters. Shout out to Jimmy for allowing me to come on his platform, sharing my story. Because once again, we're two Brooklyn guys. He's from Bensonhurst. I'm from Bed-Stuy, East New York. But it's like, what do we have in common? What we had in common, we was in love with the street. We was in love with the concrete jungle. We want to make that fast money the easy way. And right now is, look what we have to go through to understand there's no shortcut in life. Only thing come fast, trouble. Easy to get into and hard to get out. And we're blessed. For Jimmy to be, how old are you, Jimmy?
I'm 52.
For Jimmy to be 52 and me to be 91 and a half, guess what? We're blessed, man. Because how many times right now our life was on the line? How many times right now is because once again, we didn't even care. We didn't even know we had death wishes.
It's the truth, and my first friend, he passed away. He was murdered at the age of 18. And after he was murdered, it was like, you know what? Come murder me too. I'm saying now I'm carrying a gun, have bulletproof vest on. I want to die too. Come get me. And now what you're doing is, you're involved in killing other kids in the neighborhood. You're going back and forth. And then you find out it's a wise guy that killed them, because they didn't like him. But, listen, hey, the streets, they're never going to love you back. You can love the streets all you want. They're never going to love you back,
And that's what I'm saying. Sometimes people got to understand we are more loyal to something that's not loyal to us. Look at it. How many years? I always said 15 years out of my life. 15 years that I cannot get back. And I sit back and think about it. Out of 15 years, imagine if I would have flipped the script and became a correctional at Rikers Island. Only that I needed was 5 more years. And I could retire with a pension and got on to do something else. See, a lot of times we think we was better than what we are. And that's the difference because we didn't have real leaders, real disciplinary. real visionary in our life. And the difference is right now, like I want to do a platform. I've been talking to some young ladies, some young people, and right now this one young lady, like hustle. And when you hear that word, when you hear hustle, what do you think of?
Just I don't know, making money.
But how? How? When you hear the word hustle and you say making money, which way?
Well, the good way, the legitimate way.
Now, but back then, when you hear that word hustle, we all thought negativity. Because,
Absolutely.
but right now, is guess what? That's what I'm saying. I want to do a platform and bring different people on. Teach me how to hustle. Teach me how to grind legally. There's so many things out there that people can join forces and they can make it legally. You don't have to pick up a brick, throw it at that prison wall. Every time you look around, you got people pick up that brick, throwing it at the prison wall for all the wrong reason. And what I'm trying to say, it's nothing cool about going to jail. It's nothing cool when these people tell you, lock in. It's nothing cool when you're going to hear count. It's nothing cool when they say child. It's nothing cool mail call. It's nothing cool Calandra, you got to visit. Come on. What's cool about that? It's nothing cool about that. I wasted probably how many years? 6, 7 years in the box and special housing unit from Espin up. There's nothing cool about none of that. There's nothing cool about when you got to defend yourself and have to shank or kill somebody. Come on. There's nothing cool about that. To me right now, you know what's cool? Doing it right the first time. Dying, right now at an old age, around your family, people that love you, opposed to dying in a dirty, cold, dingy cell because of something that you did as a young kid that you didn't get another opportunity. A lot of these guys that's in there now, guess what? They wish they had the opportunity to do it all over again. And if they had the opportunity to do it all over again, man, they would tell you, skip that dumb stuff. Skip trying to be cool, trying to be down, trying to be tough, want to be a gangster, want to make that fast money. You know what? Do it right the first time. If I had a chance to do it all over again, I would never, ever became Brian Glaze Gibbs.
Glaze, that was great, bro. Seriously, what you just said, man, I give props to you. For real. That was some good stuff. Jimmy, ask who was the most fed gangster in the neighborhood.
Who's the most feared gangster in the neighborhood? And like I said right now, it all depends. Back then when I was coming up, it was a guy named El Shabay. And I did an interview. It's an interviewer on a platform about El Shabay and Rasta T. These guys was like, man, like right now I used to get mad because Shabay, they used to come from Plaza. And when he came down, we used to be like, oh man. And sometimes when he's coming, you'll try to run to the building and you think you're in the building. He didn't see you. You over there and you can hear his voice. Hey, Glaze, I see you. Come here. I'm like, because once again, these guys were dangerous at such a young age. Like they was older than us, but they were just dangerous. And Rasta T, he just had that look, man. He was a Jamaican, about 6 foot tall, long dread. And you talk about he had like, teleme suits. And had these big gold ruby, emerald, medallion. And right now, nobody messed with them, man. Nobody messed with them. So those are the two people right now, as far as that I can remember, like literally not being afraid of.
Glaze, I'll tell you, what? You're an amazing guy. Thank you so much for coming on. I'm not going to keep you on too much longer. But listen, we're definitely going to do it again. You want me to come on your channel?
Yeah.
Anytime. And, I appreciate you, bro. So, again, thank you.
Hey, and anybody right now that want to come and check my story out, like I said right now, go to the Brian Glaze Gibbs YouTube channel. Also, get your signed copy of the Brian Glaze Gibbs book. You know what I'm saying? A true story of crack, money, murder, and redemption by emailing me, Brian, BRIAN, Gibbs, GIBBS 1201 at yahoo.com. If I, the one that called Brian Glaze Gibbs, can change, anybody can change, folks. And even with that being said, everybody was asking me, how do you know you change? You've been in and out of prison all your life. How do you know you change? First of all, when my mother died, and I remember when I got sentenced, and right now the judge asked me if I have anything to say. And I told him, I can't blame Lorenzo Fat Cat Nichols, Howard Pappy Mason for anything I did. Anything I did it because that's what I want to do. It took the death of my mother to help me to understand the pain and suffering that I inflicted upon the victim and their family. And with that type of pain, you wouldn't wish on your worst enemy. And as it got closer for me to get released, for the very first time, I got afraid. And the far people like, what you was afraid of? Because once again, anytime I knew I was getting out, I wasn't scared. Because I knew if I had a problem, if somebody broke into my house, somebody, violated my family member, guess what? I knew I was going to go get my gun, get my bulletproof vest, and did what I feel was best. But now, as I got closer, I got scared because now if somebody would violate my family, break into my house, rob me or whatever, now I had to be like every other law-abiding citizen and pick up that phone and call the police. Whoa, that was a scary, scary feeling. But that's when I knew, whoa, you change. Because in order to change, most change comes from pain. And people do not understand that. That's why when they say no pain, no gain. So to me, in order to change, you have to feel the fire. You have to sometimes put your foot in other people's shoes. That's what change is all about. And when I knew I had to pick up the phone like every other law-abiding citizen, I knew, damn, I came a long way. In order to do better, you have to know you can do better.
That's good.
And that's why I say 25 years, man. I never went back.
Glaze, man. Yeah, that's some good stuff. And you know what? I'll tell you, Glaze is the real deal. Check out his book, Beyond Lucky. Check out his channel. And you know what? This guy leads by example. I mean, you could tell it in his words, how he changed his life. He's in the street 25 years now, just walking the straight line and, just trying to help others. This is what he's doing. So, check out his YouTube channel and check out his book.
Crime doesn't pay, Jimmy. I don't care what anybody say, man. You know what? Anybody can do it the wrong way. It's hard to do it the right way, but that's a real man. You look right now, man. In one of my favorite movies was Bronx Tale, and what did my man Al Pacino told his son? I'm saying right now is he go like this right now. The son say the working man is a sucker. He said, what? Try getting up every day punching a clock. You think these guys no, they couldn't do that. And he was right. That was a powerful scene, man. That was a very, very powerful scene.
You go after the easy money, but there's a price to pay.
Ooh. And do you want it? You want to risk your life for what?
Not after you fall down, and you realize, what? You're in that dark place. Yeah. I never want to go to that dark place ever again.
We quit, man. You know how you go when you quit? Time out. Right now, like I say, I refuse, man. Like I told these guys, I tell my guys at work, I said, right now, you think I want to be here? I said, I never want to be here. But let me tell you a secret. I'd rather be here at work than be in the penitentiary. I'd rather be here at work than be in the graveyard at an early age because of a violent death. I'd rather be here at work than being homeless. I'd rather be here at work than being hungry. We all got choices. But it all depends upon what choice we decide to make. And the bottom line is when you know better, you're supposed to do better. And that's what we're doing. Even when I'm watching, right now in the bathroom saying, what you call it, Bath Avenue crew and stuff, I'm like looking at all that stuff, I'm like, whoa, I like the unique, I like the different, I like, wait a minute here. Because once again, I'm watching. Because what can I learn and take from you to improve the process? Right now I want to take it, like I told you, 600 video, I want to take it to 1,000 video. 57,000 subscribers, I want to take it to 100,000 subscribers. 8 million views, I want to take it to 20 million views. And the difference is right now, but I want quality content. I don't want to get on no platform yelling, screaming, being disrespectful, belittling people. Nah, I don't got time for that negativity and nonsense. You know what? You watch some of these guys yelling, screaming, cursing, being disrespectful. Nah, Even when people want to come on the comment and be slick, talking that, no. Be mindful, be respectful. If you're going to come on my platform, be mindful, be respectful.
Some good stuff, man. I want to give a shout out to Robert Feebles. Robert Feebles, I'll be picking up that Kobe Bryant painting soon. He did a Kobe Bryant painting for me. He's in Staten Island. I'm definitely coming by there and grab that. But Glaze, it was great having you. We're going to do this again. Like I said, you got my number. We'll be talking. And I'll come on your platform anytime you want. And listen, hey, enjoy your weekend. I appreciate you. And hopefully one day maybe we sit down, we chop it up, have some dinner.
Okay. And right now, like I say, each and every one of y'all, thank you. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to join. Like I said right now, hey, Jimmy got a hell of a platform and it's still growing. I like the things. I like his conversation. I like his interview style because that's what it is. He get down to the nitty gritty. There's no whole bar. So that's why I said when I got the opportunity to come on this platform, you talk about two guys from Brooklyn. Here it is right now, Vincent Hurst, East New York. Who would have think of years ago, man, Jimmy, Glaze, they are doing. No, that's what it's all about, man. When you know better, you do better. And right now, he's going to be on my platform, I'm going to be on his platform. And what we're going to do is how do we take this stuff to the next level? Letting people know, guess what? No shortcut in life and get away from that. Stop picking that brick, throwing at that prison wall. How many times you did? How much time you did in jail, Jimmy?
Over 13.
Over 13. So you talking about 13, 15, 28. That's like 30 damn years that we wasted our life that we cannot get back. For what? Was it worth it? Nah.
It wasn't worth it because, as you're in jail, as you know too, you lose people. The years go by and, when you hit the street, things change,
Mm-hmm. And that's why I say I count my blessing each and every day. Right now, like I say, I appreciate Tommy for plugging me into you or whatever, because that's what it's all about, man. It's like right now, it's like to me, if I saw anything negative on your platform as we talking, or pick up any type of negative vibe, I would say I kindly decline. I got different individuals that you done been affiliated with. Reach out to me, hey man, I want you to come on my because once I see certain things, negativity going left, I can't deal with negativity and nonsense. I done dealt with so much of negativity and nonsense in my life. I shut it down. I done dealt and did so much destruction. I shut it down. So with your energy, your positivity, and the stuff that you do, I love it. So right now, you got my full support.
Thank you, Glaze. And I'm here for you too. So, we'll be working together. We'll be doing some stuff together for sure.
Okay, my brother. Hey, peace, love, and prosperity. Everybody, y'all have yourself a fabulous Friday evening, a sensational Saturday, and a super Sunday. As they always say, one love, one love. You're lucky just to have just one love.
Glaze, you're the best. I'll see you soon, okay? Stay
right,
safe and have a great weekend.
All right. Peace, brother. All right.
Peace. See you. Glaze Gibbs. I'll tell you, what? He is a hell of a guy. He really is, man. I mean, this guy is giving you wisdom, giving you wise words. I mean, this guy's a wise guy. He really is. This guy's a wise guy. I mean, this guy has 25 years in the street, walking a straight line, holds down a job, seeks redemption, doing the right thing, been through the gutter and back, and look at him now. Got his life back together. He's got his freedom, and I'm happy to call him a friend. I hope you guys all enjoyed the show. Let me play my video for you one more time. I love this video. I hope you guys like it too. So always remember something, guys. The streets will never love you back, and it's not where you start. It's where you finish. Guys, I'll talk to you soon. I love you. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you on my next video. Bye, guys.
The streets will never make you grow. It's not a seed, it's a gutter. There's no happy endings in this life. So this is my message to you. The streets will never love you back.